Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you are enjoying the Horizon 2022. Yeah, we are here with Vincent. Glad to introduce Vincent with this session. Vincent is, part of the code team, one important part of the code team, and he's going to be presenting their session Rewind the State of Your Application with Pulse. It's all yours, Vincent.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Gerardo. So let me start with a story. So have you met Tom? So Tom likes to go fishing, and because he's a big fan of prawns. But during the weekdays, Tom is a tier 1 developer. And as you know, being a tier 1 developer is quite exciting because in just a matter of days, you can build an applications that will help your colleagues. That they could be in HR departments or sales or operations. Yeah, with TM1, it's very amazing how quickly you can build reports that will save a lot of time to your colleagues. So Tom is very confident. He has built his applications. He has done some testing with a few users, and then he went to production. So everything is going well for our tier 1 developer until someone complained. Because during the testing, everything was going fast. The report was refreshing very quickly. But then I'm sure as tier 1 developer, it happened to you as well that one user might say, oh, tier 1 was slow, or your application was slow, or it's not always fast. And this kind of statement is very difficult to challenge because you will go back to your application, run the process, run the report, and for you it's going to be fast. So our tier 1 developer is a bit confused. He's not sure what to do, so he's trying to understand why. So with tier 1, you don't have a lot of options to go back in the past. So he's using the tier 1 server.log file to go through the file, and there are multiple files, so it's a bit cumbersome, and you can see only what has been executed. You will not be able to see exactly who was logged in at a specific point of time. So our tier 1 developer is a bit confused at the moment. He's not sure how to respond to his colleagues that are complaining about his applications. So right now his feeling are either running away, so he could go on vacations, take 2 weeks, 1 month off, or even worse, quitting his job. But obviously for our tier 1 developer, it's not an option. So our tier 1 developer is starting to think, what if there was a solution that can help him to investigate what happened in the past and to be able to know exactly second by second what was executed, who was logged in. So to be able to get some facts, to go back to their users and to explain them with numbers what happens. And yes, there is a solution, and I'm going to show it to you why Tom is so excited about Pulse. So I'm going to switch off my camera so you can enjoy full screen of Pulse. And I hope you can see my screen and you can see Pulse. So if you have never seen Pulse, Pulse comes with a web client and that you can access through a URL. And starting with Pulse 6, Pulse can monitor many servers. So you can see here all your servers, and below you will see all the instances that are currently monitored by your application. So Pulse can do a lot of things from migration, change tracking. It has lots of reports. So what I want to focus today is about exploring the data, because Pulse is storing a lot of data. So for example, you can see there is not much happening at the moment on my instance, but with the live monitor in Pulse, you can see what is happening right now, and below you will see the message log, so you can filter, and if there was an error, you can click to see the error message, which is quite handy. But in our case for today, what we want to do is to go back in time to understand what happened. So to do that, we introduced a new feature with Pulse 6, which is called the Pulse Explorer. So if you go under Reports and click Pulse Explorer, it's going to open a new visualization tool, which is powered by Kibana. Kibana is an open source visualization software that we have included inside Pulse. So when you install Pulse, it comes with Kibana. So let's have a look first at the Pulse Live Monitor. So if I go back quickly to the live monitor that you have in the web client, so the live monitor from the web client, the main Pulse client, is the best way to see what exactly is happening right now. So you can see the time here. It's refreshing every second. But if you want to go back in time, we built a similar dashboard as the live monitor in the Pulse Explorer. But now what you see, what is different is that you see, so by default, the last 15 minutes. So when you open Kibana, it will default to 15 minutes. So we just, let's add more data. So I would say last 24 hours. I'm going to keep to look at. So in this dashboard, we're going to look at the last 24 hours of everything that happened across all my servers and all my instances. So you can see, for example, here in the last 24 hours, we had 69 unique users. Below, you can see the memory by services. So you can see that by far the service, which is using most of the memory, is the one called timesheet and internals. Below, you will see the wait time. So the wait time is a key measure that you should monitor. And that's something which is difficult to monitor when you just have TM1. So with Pulse, when you have a user's waiting, Pulse is storing this information, and you can see it in this dashboard. So for example, we can see here that a few hours ago, there was a long wait time that happened around 9 p.m. Below, you will see all the sessions, and then all the logs. All the logs across all your servers and all your services. And so by default, as you're looking at everything, what is nice is you can use the visualizations to filter the data. And so, for example, here we can see that the wait time was happening on this instance timesheet. So if you want to filter the dashboard with the service, so you can either type the filter manually, or you can click on the chart, as I just did, and it's going to pop up the data about the bar, and then you can choose what filter you want to apply. So in this example, I'm just going to filter by the service name. And now what I will be able to see is the live monitor only of this service. So you can see now we have the maximum CPU, the memory, the users, and the wait time. And below, you will see the sessions. You can see that the sessions are filtered by the service name here. And it will be the same for the message log, which is very handy because, as you know, the message log for one tier 1 instance is stored in one file, which can be split when it reaches maximum size. So you might end up opening a lot of files to understand what happened. Now, with this visualization, you can see an overview of all your logs from all your applications. All right, so if we want to understand what happened for this wait time, I'm going to open another dashboard, which is going to add the runtime side by side. So I will just go back to dashboards, and I'm going to open the active threads only. So in this dashboard, we're going to look at all the active threads from all the applications. And again, we can quickly see our wait time. So when you change dashboards, Kibana will keep your period. So we are still in the last 24 hours, and we can see our peak of wait time, which is here. So let's again apply the same filter for this timesheet instance. All right, so it's going to filter the data. So I just see timesheet. So now if I want to zoom into this period, I can just click on the chart and just drag the period like this. So I hope you can see this gray area, and I'm going just to stop it here, and you can see that now we are looking at the data around 9:30 p.m. And you can zoom even more so we will see the data. So currently we are by minutes, and now we are by seconds. So above you can see the runtime. So you can see that there was something running, and then when this thread executed, it started to wait. So let's have a look at the beginning of the wait. So below you will see all the sessions, but there is still a lot of sessions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom again because I just want to focus on this wait. I want to know what was the cause of the wait of this thread. So you can see that now the wait started on 9:29. Maybe I should zoom in a bit. 9:29 p.m. And if I go down, you will see the tier 1 objects. And below, we should be able to see the wait here. should be able to see the wait and the running thread. So what you can do, you can also filter on the box. Let me drag, just do the zoom for the table. So here we can see our waiting on. So if we go back up, so let's look at the thread that is waiting. It's here. You can see the state and the thread info. This is where you see the waiting on. The waiting on 8552. And if we go down, the 8552, the thread ID, is a process that is running. So we can see that across all our tier 1 instances and our servers, we were able to quickly see a maximum wait time, and we were able to see that the wait time was this object, this process that was waiting, and it was waiting on the thread that you can see here, 8552, which is this other process here. All right, you can see just within a couple of minutes, you can quickly investigate and go back in time second by second, which is something which I think it's amazing. So let's have a look at another use case. So for example, let's go to the chore and process history. So you can see from the top right, Kibana kept my selection. So let's increase the data. So I'm going to select now, and from here, I'm going to go to relative. You can see it's very user-friendly. There are lots of options, and let's take the last 4 weeks of data, months ago. So in here, what we're going to look at is the last 4 weeks of executions of all the processes and chores across all my applications. And you can see again that we have 4 tier 1 instances, and the one that is has the most processes or chores running is the timesheet application. So let's filter on this one. So I'm going to filter again. Or if you don't want to use the bar, you can also use the filter, the add filter button. And if you want to create your custom filter, you can just click here, is service name is, and then it's going to show a drop down with all the services that is available in the data in the last 4 weeks. So I'm going to select the timesheets, which is, so I've done just exactly what Kibana would have done if I just click here. What we have added in this dashboard is just to show some examples about how to add custom filters as well. So for example, we have a lot of bedrock processes running. In this case, we don't need to worry about the bedrock processes, so we just remove them. So to remove them, you just put not name, and bedrock Pulse is running some processes, so we just remove them by using this not name, and then everything that starts with Pulse, and the same for APQ. This is also a set of standard processes that we want to exclude from this dashboard. All right, so what we can see here is all the processes and charts that have run in the past 4 weeks. So what we can have a look here quickly is what a good way to check if your processes are healthy is like if your processes are running often, like this one or the first one, like it's running like in the last 4 weeks, this process has run 27,000 times, and the minimum runtime was 1 second, average is 6, and the maximum is 12 seconds. So in this example, that's probably something that happened because having a maximum of 12,000 and a minimum of 1 second is probably that this process has waited at one point. So below, what we see is the maximum runtime and average runtime for all the processes. So as it is right now, this is not really relevant because it's a mix of all the processes. But the idea of this dashboard is you can focus, if you want to focus on this process, for example, you can click. I hope you can see the filter for value button. And I'm going to click here. And now what I'm going to look at is just, you can see the name here. So by clicking on the chart, on the table, it has added a filter. So the filter has added the name of the object is and our process name. So you see, you don't have to type it. You can just click on the table. It's going to add the filter for you. So we can see on the right all the executions, and below, so we have our stats. And what is more important is that now the chart is only showing the data, the maximum and the average time of this process. And we can see that this peak of 12,000, it only happened once. So if you want, you can zoom again. So we can zoom on here by just dragging. So you just click on the chart, and it's going to show this gray area, and we will be able to see to filter out all the execution, because below we can see all the executions in this time frame. So currently we are just between October 2 and October 4. So if we want to reduce even more, we can just reduce more. So we'll quickly find our execution time. And then below we will see all the runtime. So if I now order by runtime, I will be able to see to find my maximum my execution. So you can see, so this is the execution that took 12,000 seconds. So you can see it happened only once, and it happens on October 3rd at around 8:44. It started around 5 p.m. It finishes at 8 a.m. So this is how, this is a good practice if you have Pulse to go through this dashboards to quickly see if there are some warnings. Like for example, if you just focus on the last, let's say I just go back to the last 2 weeks. You can go back to the last 2 weeks of data, and you can go here and look at the maximum runtime and see if the data is relevant. So you can see that our issue with the 12,000 happened more than 2 weeks ago. The maximum now is only to 5,000. And something which is a bit more healthy is something like this process, the metadata refresh, which has been executed 53 times, and with a minimum of 2 seconds and a maximum of 4 seconds. So I mean, this one, each time this process ran, it finished around the same time. All right. So yes, next use case is the error logs. So even so we hear a lot. We can see a lot of customers, even Pulse customers, that are still going through the tier1 server.log file to understand what happened. So we published an article to show them how to use this dashboard, because when you use Pulse, you don't need to open the tier1 server.log file anymore, because Pulse is storing all this information second by second. So all the information of all your files are stored in the Pulse database. And then you can use this visualization to scroll through the file. So instead of going through a file, you can just go through the data, and you can use this visualization to filter out, to quickly see when there is an error. So for example, if from here, I can see that in the last 2 weeks of server logs across all my tier1 instances, there were a few errors here. So actually, you can see the total here of errors, 1,700. Most of the errors have been on this application. This is our main application here. So what you can do, you can filter. So we're going to filter by the server name and the service. So you can see it has added a server name and service name. And now we can see that there were lots of errors around the 9th of October. We can see all the users that were involved. And below you can see all the logs for everything. So you can see that if you want to look at in a bit more depth, there were some errors about, as you can see here, member.phone. These errors are MDX errors. So, when you build a cube view, and if the cube view doesn't have an element, it's going to throw an error. So this information is probably, you don't need to worry about unless your user is creating a lot of errors, but it will not have a lot of impact on a tier1 application. So what you can do, it's logger name MDX interface. So this one you can filter out. So you can see as I use the filter for value, you can use the filter out value. So I'm just going to click on this button. So I'm going to remove all the MDX. I'm going to remove all the MDX errors for all the MDX errors from this dashboard. So I will be able to focus on all the processes. And for example, this user, which is just an admin user, I can filter him out if I want to focus on specific users. And you can see that there is a few chars that created errors. So if you want, you can, here there was a pick of errors. Again, you can zoom like this. And we can see that there was a peak of errors here around the 9th of October. So again, you can zoom again, and you can see that the period has been filtered out here. So we are between the 9th of October on 1 p.m. And we can see that there was some memory issues for a specific user. So that was the main peak of errors at this point. Unable to allocate block. So this is kind of a big warning that was happening on the server. So yes, I hope that this dashboard, I hope that by showing you this dashboard, I will encourage more people to use the Pulse Explorer instead of you going through the server logs files. And something else I wanted to show you today is, because there is a lot of data that Pulse is using, so we can see many reports here. There is one called the user license report. So this is from where you can see all your users and what they are doing in the application. So again, when you're using the Pulse Explorer, just remind you that when you're switching dashboard, which is good in a way, it keeps your period, but in this case, I want to change the period, so I don't have a lot of data here. So I'm just going to put it now, and then relative, and I'm going to put, this one I can put the last 2 months. Let's see about last 2 months of data, and that's 1 month. Last months of data. All right. So what we will see below, and what I wanted to show is something which is very interesting is, I guess if you are familiar with the live monitor, or even if you use TM on top or workspace, there is a column called context. And in context, depending on what you are using, the tool that you are using is going to tell TM1, is going to fill this information here. So for example, if the query is coming from Pulse, Pulse is going to say it's coming from Pulse here. So it's a query coming from Pulse. If you're using TM1Py, or if you're using Arc, or if you're using Workspace or Parfait, it will be shown here. And what you can do here is that you can see what tools your users are using. Like for example, in this example here, we have quite a few tools that our users can use. So you can see they're using a bit of Applico UX. There are some TM1Py scripts that are running, Canvas application, and Arc for developments, TM1 Web, and also Workspace. So for example, here where we have a mix, you can see Architect as well. So when you're using Perspective or Architect, both are going to show Architect here. And then Debug is when you run the debug mode. So what you can do, like for example, TM1Py, you know that TM1Py will be used by mainly by the admin. So we can filter out TM1Py, for example. So I want to just exclude. So you see not context TM1Py. So you can see not context TM1Py. So we have now Applico, Canvas, Arc, TM1 Web. So for example, let's say we want to replace TM1 Web with Workspace. So we build a lot of new dashboard in Workspace. So users should be using Workspace. They should not be using TM1 Web anymore. So if you want to switch off TM1 Web with Pulse, you can quickly see by clicking on here, by filtering the dashboard with TM1 Web, you'll be able to see all the users that are still using TM1 Web, even though they should be using Workspace. So below you will see the users and when they log in. So you see all this information exactly at the last login time of all these users. You can then go back to the users and give them facts. You say, okay, hey, I saw you're still using TM1 Web. You logged in at this time. Could you please tell me why you're still using TM1 Web, why you should be using Workspace? Yeah, so that's kind of the main use cases that I wanted to show you. There are still a lot of dashboard that you can use here. What I
Hey,
wanted to
Vincent,
yes,
sorry, 5 minutes left. Just
yes,
that you.
cool. Thanks, Gerardo. So maybe just to wrap up, what I can show you is how you can customize this dashboard. And maybe if you're interested about the data that is behind, yeah, last 1 month of data is probably too much for this report. Let me just change it to as today, so it's going to be quick. So yeah, so if you want, so this dashboard comes by default in Pulse, but if you want, you can edit the dashboard. So it's very easy. You can see, click the edit button, and you can move around very easily by just drag and dropping the component. If you want, you can add new visualizations if you want. If you're interested about the data that is behind, what you can do, you can edit, let's say, for example, this one, the memory by services. I'm just going to click here, edit visualization, and you will be able to see all the data. So the data is coming from this. You can call it a table, even if it's the correct name is an index. So if you want to have a look at the data, you can then go here and look at the server states, or maybe the server log if you're more familiar with the server log. So this is how the data looks behind. So it might be a bit scary, but it's just an object with some columns. So you can easily add columns if you want. But to start with, like for example, service name, server name, so you can quickly create a table like this. But this is just if you're curious. First, you should start with the default dashboards that are coming with Pulse. Try to use this a bit more. If you have never used Pulse, and if you don't have Pulse, please reach out to your Cubewise local contact or on the Cubewise Code website. You can contact us, and we can quickly start a trial for you with you. If you're on PSAS, we can host Pulse for you as well. We have a department at Cubewise called Cubewise Cloud. We can host Pulse for you. So yeah, there's no limitation now for Pulse. So if you're using Pulse on Linux, Pulse can monitor Linux. It can also be installed on Linux. If you're on PSAS, you can monitor Planetics SaaS or Planetics Cloud. But yeah, I think that's pretty much wrap up my demo for today.
Okay, thank you, Vincent. No questions so far. So thank you so much for sharing. I think it's a really powerful tool now with Kibana. Also, it's really useful, right? And give you the flexibility of not only use this dashboard that already from the box, but also for creating one. Yeah, really nice.
All right.
Okay, thank you, and please for the audience, don't forget to give us feedbacks. It's going to help you for the next year. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.